the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
God morgen, god ettermiddag, god kveld, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to INCRadio, Northern Europe Satellite Studio. I'm Andre Palarasho. I'm broadcasting live here from the local congregation of Oslo East, Norway, district of Northern Europe. But as you can see, I am not alone tonight. Who are you?
Hello for everyone. I'm Felix Salazar from the locale of Oslo, Norway, and I will be co-hosting together with Andre.
Yeah, so we haven't actually done this in a while. So very thankful that you could come join me in my studio tonight.
Yes, I'm glad to be in the famous studios today, broadcasting for the first time here.
Yeah, so for reference, for those watching here in the district of Northern Europe, it is February 2, Sunday at 8 p.m. Central European Time, as most countries use Central European Time here in our district. If you're watching this back there in the Philippines, shout out to our technicians there in the Philippines with us tonight. It's already February 3. It's a Monday at 3 a.m. Philippine time. So Kuya Pong, Kuya Irene, very, very early good morning to you over there. And thank you so much for always supporting us, and especially in the technical side. And team live chat, we're also looking at you. I see lots of comments already. All the people watching from different countries in our district, from Sweden, we have Austria, we have Hungary, we have Poland, Norway, and what else? Denmark, Finland, lots of countries joining us, and we'll read the comment section later. But again, please make sure to continue commenting, and we will read your comments as best as we can, especially when it comes to topic discussion. So join us for our topic discussion later tonight. Of course, we won't discuss this topic alone. Felix and I, we brought with us our panelists, whom we'll introduce right now. So we're from Norway. We have another guest, another panelist, also from Norway, and her name is Angela. Hello, Angela. Can you introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone, and to the viewers and the host. I am Angela Therese Yangat from locale of Stavanger, Norway. I'm the District Bini Vice President, CWS Vice President, choir member, and the Bini President of Stavanger. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you so much, Angela, for joining us tonight. Up next with us, we have someone all the way from Hungary. Kirsten Constantino, are you there with us?
Hello, I am Ian Kirsten Constantino. I am a local secretary and secretary of the Kadiwa CFO here in the locale of Budapest, Hungary.
All right, thank you so much for joining us, Kirsten.
Thank you so much. So we have a guest from Norway, from Hungary. Let's fly back to the Nordics. We'll go to Finland. And who do we have from Finland? Hello. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Hi, happy viewing to everyone. I am Joaima from local congregation of Helsinki, Finland, District of Northern Europe, led by our resident minister, Brother Fredrik Gore. I am a finance officer.
Right. So thank you so much for taking your times, all of you. We know you're very busy. We've heard you have so many different duties as well in the church. So thank you so much for taking time off your evening to join us for our topic discussion. And shout out also to Jem Lacuesta from Sweden, and also back in Finland, in Hyvinkää, Klein Kakionus. They were also going to be here, but they were, due to some other circumstances, they weren't able to. So shout out to them as well. And they have also contributed to the topic discussion, so we'll also read their answers later out. But you might be wondering, we've been mentioning topic discussion all this time now, but we haven't actually mentioned what our topic is. If you saw our YouTube thumbnail, if you tuned in to our INCRadio link in YouTube, that's where we're also streaming we see the comments here. Our topic discussion is titled "Personal Tips for Learning." Right. So with us, our panelists, we will discuss this topic. So we'll talk about general tips, personal tips, and things we've learned in our journey of acquiring skills or learning, studying, right? So I'm very, very excited for this. This is a nice topic, not just for students, especially for students, but for everyone in general. So let's go and dive straight ahead to our topic discussion. We also want to inform you, Team Live Chat, that you're of course welcome to join us in our topic discussion. So and we'll read your comments. We will see your comments. We're monitoring. So make sure to participate in our topic discussion because we will read your comments. Okay. So just to start things off, learning in general, what's one of your favorite ways to study or learn new things? Again, the question: what's one of your favorite ways to study or learning new things? Team Live Chat, we're looking at you, but also let me just ask my co-host first. What's your favorite way to study or learn new things in general?
Well, okay, for me, when I study, I prefer, of course, to write down notes, but especially I like to obviously listen. And for example, on lectures, I prefer physical lectures and to be at the auditorium, for example, and actually listen to the professor, for example, because that's how I learn better. I do take notes, but I've noticed that I prefer. Sometimes I even forget to take notes and I just listen because that's how I absorb that info better. Yeah. What about you, brother Andre?
Yeah, and also just for some context, Felix over here is pursuing a master's degree right now, right? So
Yep.
so he has some experience already with the bachelor's.
I'm
so,
trying. Yep. Yeah.
Bachelor's degree. So
but you do too. You
so
you go
obviously
to uni as well, right?
it's working for you. I'm actually surprisingly I do the same thing. I'm not very good at taking notes.
Yeah.
Because when I take notes, it kind of splits my focus. But it is as you said, like sometimes even if I want to take notes when I'm very focused and looking at the professor teaching, the lecturer, I just get focused on that and I forgot to take notes. But somehow I tend to remember that easier. But I know also there are those who learn better from the opposite, and that's why it's so important to find your own way, your style that works for you, right?
Yes.
And if you feel like there's something I can improve here, feel free to try out new methods, right? And which is why we also have our panelists with us. I want to ask first, Angela, what's your favorite way to study or learn new things?
My favorite way of studying is to first look at my calendar to see and set a date where I can use my time for studying. For me, I have a busy schedule, so I really take the time to find the perfect date where I can only focus on studying. As the date comes where I have to study, I make sure first it's 5 to 7 days before the exam. I take first away my phone and set instrumental music in the background, turn on my speaker. I then put on a 30-minute timer where I only study. As the timer stops, I put on a 5 to 10-minute timer break to maybe stretch, go on my phone, eat, and then I proceed again with the 30-minute timer. And altogether, I study for 5 hours, maybe 3, depends. Yes.
Wow, so very very specific, right, Felix?
Yes.
I like that you mentioned like all the things that you mentioned. A lot of that is optimizing your environment. A lot of people think that best way to study is purely on your mindset, but it also is affected by your environment. So she first and foremost puts away her phone, um, disables the notifications, um, like there's like a focus mode of some kind in her phone so that she won't get distracted by the notifications, and also putting on some instrumental music to really help the help you have the right mood, setting your focus straight. So that's nice. And also putting a timer, right?
Mhm.
Taking breaks regularly and committing to a time. So That's very specific, but also very great tips
Yeah.
from Angela.
Like you mentioned with environment, it's so important because for me, for example, I'm not at my best when I'm at home because then I just wanna just chill in the sofa or
Yeah,
do
just
something
relax.
else. But when I actually go to the library, for example, like I do a lot more and more effective that way because I'm less distracted, for example. And breaks, like Angela mentioned, it's very important because although some do work better like straight, but if you do take break, you let your mind breathe and
Mm.
actually absorb what you're learning.
Yeah, we have already a comment from our team live chat. Again, make sure to comment, join our topic discussion. We have from Monica Seri, all the way from Denmark. She says that I love to learn new things, especially by seeing how it's done, because I am more of a visual learner. Yeah, that's the term.
Yes,
Same,
yes,
Monica. I'm a visual learner.
same.
If there's a way that I can avoid reading
Yeah,
and looking at presentations instead, I do that.
yeah. That's
uh,
why I'm saying a lecture is visual, right?
yeah.
Although we listen, it's a lot visual as well because usually they will have a presentation or so, and if it's a very good professor, then it doesn't feel tiring, right? It's you're just listening and absorbing the uh, whatever's being taught. And like Sister Monica said,
Mm.
visual is very important as well.
Yeah, so I also want to ask Kirsten, how do you study or learn new things? What's your favorite way to do so?
So my personal favorite way of learning things is actually through teaching. As ironic as it may sound, it really tests your mastery on the topics and on the concepts. And I am currently pursuing my studies in university, and I've had some experience in tutoring some peers and friends of mine. And while I'm nowhere near as knowledgeable as my university professors, I can say that I've become really familiar with some complicated topics when I put myself in their shoes.
Yeah, that's a very unique approach to learning, which is not only like learning, but actually teaching what you've just learned, for example, teaching what you knew beforehand also reinforces what you already know. So that's a very good strategy. And actually, that's something I've also tried out myself before. I have some experiencing tutoring as well, and and whenever I feel like I can't really explain it, it also means that I don't really know that topic well. So it's also a good way to see if you really know a specific subject as well. It's a good way to test yourself. And even better, when you already know it, then you can teach it um, using your own words, not from what you've heard from your lecture or what you read. It also shows that you have a deeper understanding of it if you can explain to yourself. I've also heard and read somewhere that if you can explain something complex to a child, make it simpler, then you really know your your topic. So that's a great tip, Kirsten. So for
Yeah.
those watching, if you haven't tried that yet, perhaps it's time to try it. How about you, Felix? Have you tried that technique before?
I haven't tried. I have no experience in tutoring yet, but I can imagine how helpful that is, considering that because when we learn, we write a lot and we by ourselves will absorb the material. But actually talking with someone, for example, it's even if it's in a group and or if it's tutoring back, when you're oral about it and actually speak about the materials, then you learn better that way, especially for me. So when I have group projects, when we speak and like have a discussion about the topic, then I notice I learn a lot better. So I believe it goes the same way when you tutor, right?
Yeah, so that's a great tip, Kirsten. Thank you so much for that. We have another comment. A very active live chat tonight. Thank you so much for joining our topic discussion, Team Live Chat. Michelle Hermanson says, I read in advance for the lesson. During the lecture, I listen and write keywords, then read again when I get home. review the lesson. So before, during, and after, Michelle Hermanson has a plan. That's also
It's very
very effective
yeah.
repetition, right?
Yeah.
But that's also one of the reasons why like in university setting, especially here in Europe, a lot of lecturers beforehand, uh, a few days before or even a week before, they already post their lecture notes, because they know that there are some students who like to read up on the material in advance, take notes, and then when they show up for the lecture itself, they already have some general knowledge of it. So thank you for that comment, Michelle Hermanson, and we're looking forward for more comments in Team Live Chat. It's scrolling very fast, so hopefully we haven't missed any. So if yours haven't been read, keep spamming it in the comment section, and then we'll read it out loud. Let's also ask Joyma, what's your favorite way to study or learn new things?
Well, some of my ways of studying and learning new things are by means of reading, listening, and taking down notes. I find it effective and easy to understand and to remember and to retain the information if I am taking down notes. I have a notebook wherein I wrote the lessons being thought about in our school. As well, also, I have kept a note on my phone. I called it Pocket Dictionary. So wherever I am, I will be able to browse it.
Right. So that's a good tip. Having a pocket dictionary. So like somewhere you have it always with you. If you have to look up a word or some topic, you already have some notes from it. Very smart. So thank you so much. And you can see, the viewers and listeners, there's so many different methods and that have been displayed here. So it's not that some specific technique mentioned here might work for you, but other techniques might. So you really have to try it out. And it's a lot of it has to do with stepping out of your comfort zone, right? Before, when I was in middle school, I was always taking notes. I'd get stressed out if there was a lecture I missed, or I missed taking notes. But somehow later in life, I found out that okay, I actually learn better if I just put my full focus on the lecture, just like you, Felix.
Mm.
But again, we just had an example from Joyma where she takes notes, and this is what works well for her. So again, there's no technique that's bad by itself. Some are better than others, but some are better for you, right? So you really have to personalize it for yourself. There we go, another comment from there's a new comment from Selina Bolander. She's also from Sweden. She says that I always put headphones on because I get distracted easily with noise around me, and for me repetition is the key. I always repeat the keyword or important words, and that is what works for me. So thank you for that comment, Selina. We have such an active live chat.
Yes. And the noise canceling headphones are the best when you're very sensitive to noises like me. So I relate with Selena. Mm.
Yeah, noise canceling headphones. I also prefer that, and not just for studying, just in general.
Yeah,
If I'm in the subway, the subway, the metro
Yeah.
in Oslo is so noisy. So it also protects my hearing.
Yes. Alright.
So we've talked about different ways to study, learn new things, but of course, as we all know, there will be those days where we don't really feel motivated. We might feel tired, or we might feel motivated, but we don't have the energy. So let's go around and ask again. The next question here is, how do you stay motivated when learning something new, right? And especially it can be challenging something sometimes when you learn something new. So how do you stay motivated for that? Let's go back to Angela.
How I stay motivated, I just have the mindset where I just need to learn this and that during class, because all of the things that we learn in class are essential for our future. I study nursing, and if I miss even one class, I'm like far behind now. So I really take the time to listen. If I go to, I don't know, bathroom breaks, I even have to ask my friend what was being said or what was being taught. So I just choose discipline. But
Discipline.
Discipline, there's a key word there. And also just understanding why you're doing it, right? So
Yeah.
as Angela mentioned, like she knows that she needs this knowledge, she knows that what she's learning in school is essential for what she will do when she enters the workforce. So
Mhm.
knowing your whys,
Yeah.
right?
And actually being interested in the material. So hopefully for most of us, we actually enjoy and like what we are learning. And that's a big factor in actually being motivated in learning the material, right? So if we don't really like the material or we don't care for it, then it's hard to be motivated. So a good being interested is a very good motivation as well. I also want to ask Kirsten, what's your way to stay motivated?
Stay motivated. I like to remember my younger self. Growing up, I wanted to do everything. I wanted to learn everything. And pretty much I had a new dream job every 5 minutes. And fortunately, my parents were very supportive and they encouraged me to do whatever made me happy. And suffice to say, I had big dreams, and I still do share those childlike dreams from back then. And as children, we have a spark within us that fuels our passion and our curiosity for the world around us. And as for me, learning new things as I enter my 20s, that's my way of keeping that spark alive.
Right. So remaining curious, curiosity, it really drives your motivation. So thank you so much for sharing that. And it goes in line with what Felix said. If you're curious about it, you like what you're learning, it will be so much easier for you.
Yes.
It will be a much smoother journey for sure. Because even if it's a challenging task at hand, if you really like what you're doing, that won't be a big problem, right? And we just talked to Kirsten. She was also the one who shared a tip about teaching. We have a comment here from Clarissa Traboco saying, sharing some experience about learning, mostly English. So Clarissa is learning English. Watching English movies. At kapag may bagong English word po akong nakita, I write down and research it online, what the meaning of it is. So yeah, so that's another way to learn. If you want to learn English, obviously watching English movies is a great way to learn. So thank you for that comment, Clarissa. She's from Zagreb. So thank you so much for that comment. How about Joima? How do you stay motivated when learning something new?
Ye- Yes, learning new things and going out of our comfort zones are never easy. Neither are staying motivated. It requires a lot of patience, time, and effort. Whenever I feel down and tired, I always remember my whys and whats. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? What are my goals? And I always look back on the things I have sacrificed and overcome throughout my journey, thinking that God has a better plans and surrendering everything to Him gives me comfort.
And so yeah, just having
Oh,
your reason, your
yeah.
goal for this. Like, why am I doing this? If you ask yourself that constantly and you know the answer for that, that can be such a um powerful fuel
Mm,
for
mm.
your energy reserves and for your motivation. So thank you so much for that. And now we've discussed some uh, about motivation, about learning tips in general. But of course, as it also happens in life in general, we may experience setbacks, right? There may be a concept that we're trying to learn and we're struggling to really fully understand what it is. So um, and we try to learn it in a specific technique, but then we still can't get it. So, my next question is, what's a mistake you've made when learning, and how have you learned from it? Right. So, what's a mistake you've learned from learning, and how have you learned from that? Lots of learn words here. Angela, do you have an answer for that?
Mm, a mistake is going on my phone very often. Before I didn't even turn off my notifications, which was a huge distraction. So now I really silence it and put it on Do Not Disturb. Another mistake is going to places or studying where it's very loud. Um, I don't really recommend public places unless you have the ano yun, noise
Like,
cancellation
yeah, noise
headphones. Yeah,
canceling phones. Yeah.
huge distraction. I can't read, so I really learned from it. After I found a place where there's silence. After I turned off my phone, I noticed that my grades were getting better, and the way I studied I got more used to it. So yeah.
Right, that's awesome to hear. And you shared your tip earlier. It's like the complete opposite of the things that you just mentioned right now, the mistakes, right? So optimizing your environment, that's like a mistake you've made before. You were in a loud, very busy place, and you're
Yeah.
also distracted with your phone. So congratulations to you for finding finding the method that works for you.
I can relate with Angela with the phone because I also struggle with not being distracted by my phone. So now I always put it where I don't see it. So either my my bag or behind my laptop, so I forget that it's there. So and then of course I put it on do not disturb. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
it really does split your focus, right?
it really does.
And it's also in this day and age, like we've become so reliant on our cell phones
Yeah.
that even if we know that nothing's gonna happen, we just look at it, like we have an urge to pick it up and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
open it and use it.
All right. What about Kristen? What's one of the mistakes you've made?
So being afraid of making mistakes in the first place, I think that's my biggest mistake. I still do it, unfortunately, but before I begin learning something new, my mind tends to make like a whole grocery list of things that could go wrong, all the ways I could mess up. And because of this fear, I end up doing more stressing than actual studying or learning, unfortunately. And with that, I try to remember to put my energy into the things that I can control rather than worry about the imaginary mistakes that I'm about to make or I'm not even going to make in the first place.
Yeah, and especially for us members inside the Church of Christ, we're so fortunate because we always think that a lot of people in this world struggle with taking the first step, as you mentioned, right? They might have so many doubts that before even entering entering that place, they've already started overthinking. That as members of the Church of Christ, we always have our Almighty God uh, to guide us and through our prayers, and that's how we gain confidence in taking the first step in here in this context of taking the first step to learning a new thing or a concept. So thank you for sharing that, Kirsten. Next up, Joima, do you have any tips, things you have experienced that was a mistake when learning, and what have you learned from that?
So, what's the mistake I've learned when learning? Entertaining negative thoughts and pressuring myself is one of the mistakes I made during my studies. Once we start thinking negatively and give pressure to ourselves, we will start to feel demotivated. I'd learned that learning new things should be fun and it should give ourselves a chance to grow spiritually, personally, and professionally.
Yeah. I agree with you, Jemima, because adding stress on ourselves won't help us in the studies. But of course, as students or when we learn new things, it's very natural to stress. That's a big part of it, actually. But uh, we know that at the end, we can, as long as we put it the work, we can make it, right?
Yes, of course. And as members of the Church of Christ, we have faith. We have faith that our Almighty God will be here to help us, and we couple that with works, of course. So there may be times where we're studying, and there might be a certain topic within what we're trying to learn, which is not really interesting for us. So my next question is, how do you make learning fun or engaging for yourself? Let's go back to Angela.
So I don't really see studying fun, but it's not boring either, because once I actually focus, when I'm locked in, it makes me want to learn and read more and more. So I try to make it as a habit. Like even if it's just a homework, I try to make it seriously so that the next time where I have to study for an exam, it won't be hard for me now to start because I'm already used to it. So that's how I make it fun.
Yeah, fun or engaging. It's just that you've basically made it you've incorporated that to your daily routine. So it's not even about if you can make it fun or not. It just has to be there. It's just part of your life. So that's one way to look at it. So thank you for sharing that. How about Kirsten? How do you make learning fun or engaging? You've already mentioned that you're really driven by curiosity. So I'm curious to hear what your answer is here.
So what I like to do is I like to involve others, actually, other people. So let's say I'm learning Hungarian, because I am living here in Hungary. I could go lock myself in the room, sit at my desk, write down words and talk to myself in Hungarian. But that is really boring. So I think it's way more fun to go out and, go to the market, run my errands, talk to the vendors, maybe order my coffee in Hungarian, and maybe even have some small talk with strangers. Because incorporating other people in your learning process, it adds this element of spontaneity to a routine that seems, kind of monotonous and boring. And, as you know, feedback is important when you learn and when you interact with others. When I interact with the locals here, I can get realistic feedback on my language skills, whether it's them correcting my grammar straight up to my face or seeing a positive reaction from them, like a smile or a laugh. At my attempts at speaking their language, I think that is definitely a sufficient reaction for me.
Oh, that's good to hear. And it's not only fun, but it's also more efficient in a way, right? So instead of having to search up online, did I pronounce it correctly? You can get a direct feedback from a native speaker.
Yeah.
And it's true what you said, right? Like, for me as well, like, and of course, this might differ from person to person, but for me, learning is more fun in a group setting as well. I feel like I learn better with other people joining because you get different perspectives on things. Because especially when we're learning, we might have some things beforehand that we thought was was the absolute truth, and then someone comes with a new concept and it's like, oh, I didn't think about that way. And it's not something you can easily search up online. You can, of course, you have forums for that, but it makes it more engaging,
Yeah.
more fun to do so in a group setting, right?
Yeah, it's different when it's in person and you actually speak about it. Because that's how, actually, for me, my last exam, I didn't, I don't even know if I would pass if it wasn't for my group, because we were working together a lot before that, and I learned basically almost all the materials from them, or they learned from me as well. But we were just giving back and forth, and that's how we learned a lot. And luckily, we all passed the exam. And just a group setting is always group setting interaction is always good for making it more fun.
Yeah.
And
That's good to hear. And
Yeah.
especially, as members of the Church of Christ, we're being taught that, whenever we can do good, we should do so. Whenever we can help our fellow men, we should do so. And when it comes to studying and studying in groups, that's a perfect way to share what you know and help out your fellow students, right? So that's good that you mentioned that, Kirsten. Just really trying to incorporate other people to your studying. And of course, we also want to ask Joima, how do you make learning fun or engaging for yourself?
Well, to make learning fun, I try different ways so I would not feel bored. I went to brainstorming, group studying, and sometimes I went out and tried other places to studies, like libraries or coffee shops that foster a positive learning environment.
And so it's almost like a mix of what Angela and Kirsten said, right? So it's mixing it up, because sometimes one method might work, and then if you keep using that, it becomes boring. So you change it up a bit. So you're of course allowed to do that, right? And that works well for Joima. So if you haven't tried that yet, uh, give it a go. Perhaps they will work even better. So it's also about stepping out of your comfort zone. Now we've also discussed a lot of this. We've mentioned some Christian values that we share in the Church of Christ. So because we were being taught through the Bible in so many ways, and it also helps us learn better. So we want to just ask and just share it around. Let's go to Angela first. How does your membership inside the Church of Christ help you in learning new things?
As a member of the Church of Christ, school is very important for us in order for us to receive a good future. So every day when I pray, I always include that God may grant me a bright future because my dream is to be successful and being able to help my family as a return of how much they've given me and provided my needs in my childhood and even today. Learning new things in school is very important in my future so that come the day when I have the exam, I'll be able to get good grades, well, which leads to receive a bright future. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Angela. How about you, Kirsten? How does your membership inside the Church of Christ help you in learning new things?
So, my current attitude towards learning is actually a result of these values that I strive to practice and maintain in my life. And these values did just come from the teachings of our Almighty God. Being a member of the Church of Christ from birth, I've always been reminded by, the CWS, and my parents, and even until now in the worship services, on how to take in the world around me and how to live my life in a virtuous way.
Right. So thank you so much. It really is the foundation, right? The Christian values, the values that we learn from the Bible, from our membership inside the Church of Christ. It sets the foundation on what we do in life, how we live our life, and the rest, builds up from that, as Kirsten mentioned. How about you, Joima? How does your membership inside the Church of Christ help you in learning new things?
Being a member of the Church of Christ is a blessing. It gives me strength and peace knowing that we have God to guide us to achieve our goals, and our dear Lord God is the one giving us all the knowledge that we need for us to be successful in this life.
And so thank you so much for sharing that, Joyma. And with that, we've showed some like how like what's our whys, right? So a bit just personal level, but specifically as a member of the Church of Christ, why is it important for you to be good at learning or studying, learning new things? Let's go back to Joyma. So yeah. Oh, I think you're still muted.
Oh,
There we
I'm
go.
sorry. Yeah, as a member of the Church of Christ, it is important to be good at learning because I want to set a good example to others, and it gives pleasure not only to our beloved church administration, but most of all to our dear Lord God.
Right. So thank you so much for sharing that. Right. And how about Kristen? As a member of the Church of Christ, why is it important for you to be able to be good at learning things, studying?
So I can speak for my fellow youth and those who are currently pursuing their studies when I say this, that the world as it is now is full of distractions, actually, especially for younger people. These distractions can probably slowly erode our faith and maybe put our hearts in the wrong places. And when we, as members of the Church of Christ, put our studies first before any worldly distractions, this can prove how motivated we are to create a good future for ourselves and for our families. And most importantly, we can prioritize what is righteous in the eyes of God.
Right. So thank you so much. And for those who may be watching, tuning in, who are not members inside the church, if you're interested, we have so many different places to show you where you can learn more about the church. Of course, we have our websites, incmedia.org. You might be watching this broadcast right now on our YouTube channel, INCRadio DZEM 954, and we have so much to share with you. So if you're interested, feel free to contact us at any time, and we'll be happy to show you more about the church. And with that, I see that we're unfortunately running short on time. But to summarize the topic we've had today, the topic about personal tips for learning, we've prepared a quick a quick translation segment. Perhaps you will learn something new since our topic is about learning. So let's go to one of my favorite segments. Let's learn Norwegian, where we will showcase words related to learning. So let's go right ahead and enjoy. God morgen, god ettermiddag, god kveld. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to Let's Learn Norwegian. We just had our topic about personal tips for learning. Now, to summarize, here are some Norwegian words related to that topic. La oss begynne, let's begin. So, our first word is knowledge. In Norwegian, that is kunnskap. Kunnskap. Our next word is study. In Norwegian, that is studie. Studie. What about practice? Practice in Norwegian is øvelse. Øvelse. Our next word is focus. In Norwegian, that is fokus. Fokus. Now, let's talk about skills. Skills in Norwegian is ferdigheter. Ferdigheter. Next up, questions. In Norwegian, that is spørsmål. Spørsmål. Our next word is growth. In Norwegian, that is vekst. Vekst. Our next word is understanding. In Norwegian, that is forståelse. Forståelse. Now that we've understood, we've made some progress. In Norwegian, that is fremgang. Fremgang. Last but not least, curiosity. In Norwegian, that is nysgjerrighet. Nysgjerrighet. Those are all the words for now. We hope that you've enjoyed and learned something new. Until next time on Let's Learn Norwegian. Vi ses neste gang. See you next time. Words related to our topic about learning. So we hope that you've learned something new. I know for Angela, this is easy because she speaks Norwegian. But just to test our panelists, what is curiosity in Norwegian, Kirsten?
Whoa.
Put her on the spot there.
Here. Oh my goodness. There were a lot of words. And I was trying to write them down as they go. I couldn't say it. I'm
It's
so
okay.
sorry.
It's okay. That was I put you on the spot there.
Mhm.
I was just teasing you. So curiosity is nysgjerrighet in Norwegian. Nysgjerrighet. But I know it's very difficult because I've heard Hungarian. It's very different from Norwegian. So it's probably a whole different way of pronouncing and all that. And Team Live Chat, we hope that you enjoyed that segment as well. Now, also for one of my favorite segments, our next segment is CFO in Action, where we showcase some activities from the Christian family organizations here inside the church, specifically in our district. So, first off, I want to report this activity that we've had recently. It's the worldwide special gathering was held. So we have some pictures there. There we go. A special gathering in Northern Europe was held, aimed to teach the importance of ministers and ministerial workers in the church, as written in the Bible. Furthermore, to inspire and motivate additional male brethren to enter the School for Ministers, or SFM for short. In short, the gathering was streamed in various sites across Europe, led by Brother Leonardo Pedlaloan Jr. So all attendees were grateful as they received spiritual guidance and blessings, and they were motivated and edified in their faith. So I was also there in that special gathering, Felix, and it's really inspiring to see that the church has spread across the entire globe, and of course, since we're spreading across the globe, we will always need more ministers and ministerial workers inside the church, and this was an inspiring special gathering, and hopefully we'll have more male brethren join the School for Ministers, or
Yeah.
SFM. Right?
It's always inspiring to see even the young kids actually considering or wanna be ministers,
Yeah, from an
even at a
early
young
age.
age. Yeah, it's very important with such activities. And the next activity we had in Northern Europe is called the Proper Sleep Cycle Seminar that was held back in January 26. So the Classical District of Northern Europe conducted an awareness seminar about sleeping cycle. Attendees from different congregations were connected via video conferencing. The aim of the seminar is to remind all the brethren to take care of their physical health by learning proper sleeping habits, to have a healthy body and a more focused mind, to all the more perform our holy obligation to serve the Almighty God.
Yeah, so shout out to the church administration because I feel like that activity is tailored specifically for me.
Or the youth.
For the youth, for all of us,
Yes.
especially students, right?
Yeah.
It's so sleep is so important.
Very.
Um,
Especially for us students.
yeah,
So
I know there's lots of students out here in the live chat. I know that there are some students right now who are pulling all-nighters, right? Sacrificing sleep. So hopefully those who join that seminar learn something new, gain more insight on proper sleep. So thank you to the church administration for allowing us to have activities such as these, and shout out to all the brethren who helped prepare for that as well. And shout out to everyone tuning in to our broadcast tonight. Fortunately, we're running very short on time, but of course, we have more time for our shout outs. So I want to ask first, Angela, do you have any shout outs anyone you'd like to read?
Yes, I do. Shout out to brother Paulo Guarin, our resident minister, also to his wife, Tita RG, and their daughter Marla. Happy birthday, Tita RG. She just celebrated her birthday yesterday. Shout out to my family in the Philippines, Nana Aida, Papang Puji. I really miss you all. My dad, Kaleo, and my mom, Kasusain, my little brothers, they're currently in vacation in Pinas. I really miss you all. Shout out to everyone in the local of Stavanger. Shout out to Romina Balbin from also East. Shout out to Tita Pearl from Stavanger. Shout out to all my friends from Canada and locale of Hamptons and in the locale of Wellington. Hope to see you soon again. And shout out to all my friends from Central Europe. Shout out to the guests and also to the viewers. Thank you.
And shout out to you, Angela, for joining us in our panel. Thank you so much. And who do we have next?
yes, up next, Sister Kirsten. Do you have any shout outs?
Yes, I'd like to shout out my family, of course, my mother, my father, who are currently watching this right now, and my brother, Aaron. Hello. I'd like to greet the local of Budapest, Hungary, as well as Debrecen, our group worship service here in Hungary. And to everyone watching in Northern Europe and beyond, thank you so much for tuning in.
All right. Thank you so much, Kirsten. Joaima, do you have any shout outs?
Yes, I do. Shout out to my husband, Ron, to my papa and my mama from the Calabinanan district of Rizal East, to my brothers, sister-in-law, and to my nephew from the Hokatar and local of Port Louis, Ireland. They are watching right now. Shout out to you. Happy viewing, and shout out also to my friends, Melanie, Ivy, Marilu, and Bia, and to all my finance officer in our local congregation, Helsinki, Finland. And of course, shout out and greetings to our beloved resident minister, Brother Fred Rigor, and to his wife, and to his baby boy, baby Rigor. Thanks, everyone.
And thank you so much for joining us, Joyma, and to all our panelists. Before we do our personal shoutouts, we have one more surprise for you, dear viewers and listeners. We have one more segment, and this is to showcase an original Iglesia Ni Cristo music. So please enjoy this music video. This is titled Guide My Heart.
You've been there since the beginning. You have loved me from the start. You were always there to teach and guide my heart. As the world spins on around me, I choose which path to take. You always show me, Lord, which steps to make. Lord, please hear my prayer. Hold my hand, Lord, through the night. Guide me through the dark and help me shine bright. Hold my hand, Lord, and keep my feet on the ground. From you I'll never part, whatever comes my way, I pray. Please guide my heart. If I face more pain and sorrow and tread a path unknown, I'll have no fear, 'cause you will lead me home. The clouds may hide the rainbow, but like waves that roll ashore, you show me how your blessings overflow. Lord, please hear my prayer. Light my way as I walk to forever. Hold my hand, Lord, through the night. Guide me through the dark and help me shine bright. Hold my hand, Lord, and keep my feet on the ground. From you I'll never part, whatever comes my way, I pray. Hold my hand, Lord, through the night. Guide me through the dark and help me shine bright. Hold my hand, Lord, and keep my feet on the ground. From you I'll never part, whatever comes my way, I'll pray. Lord, guide my heart. I pray whatever comes, please guide my heart.
Yeah, so we hope that you enjoy that music. And for more original Iglesia Ni Cristo music, you can check out. We actually have a page on Spotify, and we have a page on YouTube, INC Original Music, or Iglesia Ni Cristo Original Music. So check that out. And shout out also to Angela, our panelist. She was actually the voice used for that music video. So shout out to you, Angela. And shout out to all the birthday celebrants for this month. And we've prepared a birthday song, or Kuya Pong and Kuya Irene have. So from Budapest, Hungary, Brother Brian Adams, Alfonso, Marcelo Viray Jr., Dexter Riraro, and also Everlita Benito, Amy Pilapil. And also from Debrecen, Brother Ralph Lauren Sudara. All the way from Vienna, West Austria, we have Lowell Murillo, Joey Tungpalan, Angelique Tungpalan, Gilbert Alcantara, Gina Tungpalan, Abigail Alcantara, Christy Perez, Teresita Consulta, Marianne Salangsang, Chelsea Consulta. And from Helsinki, Finland, we have Cheryl Castillo. So with that, from the INCRadio team, we wish you a happy birthday. And all the way from the Philippines, our technicians there, Kuya Pong and Kuya Rin, has prepared a birthday song for you. So let's hear it, Kuya Pong, Kuya Rin.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, so happy birthday to everyone here from the District of Northern Europe. We also want to have a special shout out to the brethren from Wejherowo, Poland, our newly inaugurated group worship service, Wejherowo, Poland. So shout out to all the brethren in Wejherowo. And shout out also, I'd like to give my personal shout outs to everyone, all my friends who tune in to our broadcast tonight, and especially my family, my family members all the way in Northern Africa. Shout out to brother AJ and sister Nicole Santos, and with their my little nephew, who's also there, brother Zaizai. Zaizai, we call him Zaizai, brother Azaya Rain Santos. So shout out to all of you there in Northern Africa, and thank you so much for tuning in, and everyone, all our guests and viewers, and to our tech in the Philippines, Kuya Pong, Kuya Irene, and of course, thank you to our beloved executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, for having INCRadio programs such as this, and to Brother Angelo Eranio Manalo, our CEBSI president and CEO, and Christian Family Organizations coordinator. Shout out to Brother Montreville Boy, our INC Media Productions section chief, Brother Wally Taray, our INC Radio subsection chief, and to Sister Des Acenas, our executive producer.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
So I want to give my personal shout outs as well. And I want to shout out my parents who are watching, and also my siblings and brother in law, Ate Clarice, Chloe, and Dominic, and also to my cousins in Denmark who is in Poland at the moment, Monica and Rochelle. Hello, I miss you guys. And thank you to our guests for joining us, and thank you for hosting together with Brother Andre, and also shout out to Brother Rizal Balsita, Supervising Minister, Brother Jake Edick, Assistant District Supervising Minister, and Brother Oliver Nugget, District CFO Overseer.
So we hope to see you again next time. That is every Sunday at 8 p.m. Central European Time, or Monday 3 a.m. Philippine Time on INCRadio Northern Europe Satellite Studio. Until next time, and we'll see you again.
In the Bible it was proclaimed it would be hard to be a Christian in these last days. So we gotta be ready to fight the good fight. Yeah. We have been taught from the beginning this is no time to be lax or be sleeping. Let nothing change our faith inside the Church of Christ.